Okay, turn up the volume. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start. Okay, I have a question for you. Are you very busy in your life? Comment below. Do you respect your time? Comment below. So suppose in a situation where you agree with somebody to have a conversation that's pre-scheduled in advance. In other words, it's not like I call you and you pick up the call on the spot. So this is an agreed call to happen certain point in time later on. And the question is that, let's say the call is supposed to be scheduled at 6 p.m. and at 5:15, the other guy showed up and said, I'm sorry, I'm stuck with the previous appointment. I couldn't show up at 6. Can we renegotiate the time? So this is the subject matter of this, I would say, this broadcast, simply because I learned that I could be very upset with this. And in fact, in the good old days, if this happened in the good old days, I would be very, very upset. Because you must understand, there are some people who really stick with their schedule, black and white, and they can't really move from one place to the other easily. So I learned over time that that doesn't really work, because life is not just predictable, it comes with surprise also. How many of you agree that life should have some sort of like surprises, or else it could be very, very boring? Correct. So the question I have for all of you who have experienced this situation, whereby somebody last minute said, I couldn't commit, how would you feel? So if you have any such experience, if you're watching this recording, comment below, because I would love to hear from you. And now for those people who are on the other side of the call, somebody last minute said, I couldn't make it. And what are you going to do with that? Okay, so here this video, I want to address two particular questions. The first question is like, why would somebody whose time schedule is so fixated, and you might say that they can't really change it, why do they live their life in such a way that everything must be scheduled? So guess what? How many of you notice that this question can be valid, and you may resonate with it if you happen to be the person of this sort? And the moment if you are not of this type of person, and you ask such question, it means that you are not a person who fixate with the time schedule or what. Now, first of all, let me get it very real. There's no right or wrong answer. All it boils down to is this thing called your personality. So you see that these forecasts show up again. The reason why I use these forecasts is because out of these forecasts, the blueprint, wrong card, the blueprint, the action, then we've got the nurturing, and then the knowledge. Okay, so the BNK, one of them respect time a lot. So what I would say is this: if you are talking to a prospect, and if it happens that the prospect is a blueprint, then you better agree with the person's the time and have the conversation, and do not give this person a last minute surprise. Because in the world, everything is governed by rules. And to them, they don't like to break rules. Rules are meant to be followed. And if you ask, like, why are they so inflexible? Now, this question, if you're asking this question, it only means that you are not potentially a blueprint person. Because to you, rules may be meant for something else. Perhaps rules are meant to be broken. Rules are meant to be bent. Rules are meant to be just for fun. So you understand that you would not want to use your own model of the world and apply this to other people and think that why they are so inflexible and you are flexible. It's not that. It's just that our behaviors somehow are different. So understand of these differences in behavior, and understand that you have your model of the world, and the other person has his own model of the world. So who's right, who is wrong? Comment below. I hope that nobody will say that you are right, I'm wrong, because There's no such thing called right or wrong. Okay, so coming back to this question, when you have scheduled a call at 6 p.m. and last minute you couldn't make it, and you are nice, you actually give the person a notification. It happens that the other person is a blueprint, and you know what? The blueprint wasn't very impressed simply because the time is not respected. And sometimes you know that opportunity does not come again. It's not because the person doesn't want to entertain you. The person might see the fact that, well, you might not seem to put a lot of emphasis in this conversation. So now I want to come to the second principle. The second principle is all what we call the, what's this word? Okay, you can see the word, right? Priority. So what is priority? Priority, according to my teacher, Alex Mandosian, priority is something that's important to you. So everybody has his or her priorities. And nobody is going to judge you whether yours is important than the other people. Okay? So you could have your priority. And when you schedule a call or a meeting with somebody, in your mind, do you see that the call or the meeting important in the first place? Because the moment if you think that, this is just one of the calls that I'm going to make this week or today, or this is just one of the meeting, then perhaps your subconscious mind is actually sabotaging you. Because the one thing that I know, the subconscious mind loves to play games. You may not see that call as important. Although you may think it's important, but your subconscious mind is thinking otherwise. That's not cool. So imagine this call that you're going to make is with the United States president, or for that matter, the $50 billion man. Is that important call? Because can't you schedule a call at 6 p.m. and at 5:15 you tell the United States president, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I have something on, I cannot actually have this call with you. Can we reschedule it? What would be the response? You want to comment below? There's no way the president would say otherwise. Who is requesting the meeting? You or me? So you got to actually follow my schedule. You got to understand this is the way I play by my rules. Understand? So if you already think that this call, well, I just want to find out more, I just want to share, I just want to have a conversation, that means the call is not important. I would love to help people, but I don't want to have call to have casual conversation, because in my life, I have enough casual conversation. Now you may think that Jack is very adas. What is adas? Adas in Singapore term is called arrogant. It's very advanced, high end. And you know what? I respect my time a lot, because I know that whoever wants to schedule a call with me, and if the call goes well, I can save a life. And I want to absolutely devote my time, my full attention to somebody who I can help. Okay? So that's why I respect every single one who asks me for a call. And I'm not saying that I will accept the calls also, because I will see who is going to ask for the call. If these requests come from my mentees, from my students, I will always give priorities, because they have already had a relationship with me previously. If it's someone I don't know sending a request for a call, then I will ask for a couple of things. I may even ask for a deposit before the call is going to be accepted, because I always value this thing called commitment. What's the word? Commitment. Thank you. So my point is that you may want to understand the prospect's Bankcode to see whether the person play by rules and you don't want to upset the person. Or think about the reason, the why you want to schedule the call, why you want to schedule this meeting. And if the why is strong enough, which means that this is a very important meeting, then you better show up and do whatever it takes. Now, you will try to attend the meeting, you will try to have the call. The moment you say try, what happened? Your subconscious mind says that, well, you know what? If it is a try, that means if it doesn't happen, it's still okay. So that is your model of the world. Remember, in a conversation, you shall not put your model of the world on the other person, thinking that the other person would feel the same. As I remember, my teacher, T. Harv Eker, author of Secrets of Millionaire Minds, also the creator of this program called 3 Days Millionaire Mind Intensive. He said, how you do anything is what? If you have heard of this sentence before, how you do anything is what? That's right. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you do not respect the importance of the meeting or the conversation, guess what? That may show up in other aspects of your life. And you know what? That can be sabotaging your business or your relationship with families. Different aspects, I mean. So all I'm saying is that if I am going to make this call with somebody, if I know that this call is important, I may even want to reschedule my call instead. We schedule what I'm going to do before the call to make sure that at the call I can devote my 100% attention and focus. In fact, this is what I do. I don't care whether the call is important or not, or who is calling. So long as I agree that a call is going to happen, about 30 minutes before a call, I'll make sure I clear everything because I want to have the 100% attention during the call. I don't want to while I'm having the call, I'm actually looking at some other things or seeing other things. I don't like this because I respect the time. Okay, I treat each call as important call because it can potentially save lives. So my world is very simple. If you are the one making the request, then under Bankcode, what we are saying is that you need to learn the personality style of the other guy. If you are the one making the request, because who is making the request? If it's you, you can't impose your model of the world on the other person. That's not going to happen. Okay, so if you are the one making a request, make sure that you do study. If you know Bankcode, by all means study Bankcode. I'll put a link below. If you want to find out your Bankcode, by all means, I will have this link later for you so that you can see, hey, this is actually something you can learn. Or why not I just go and type it for you so you can see you can see this very, very quickly. Okay, so that will help you see what I would call your personality. Okay, so if I am the one being requested, okay, whose rules should be played with or whose rules should be complied? Is that the requester or the requestee, if you like? It should be the requestee's rule to be followed. So that's the reason why I've got to study, understand, or do some due diligence of the person with whom you're going to have this meeting or call. And do some due diligence to me is very important because you want to come fully prepared. Okay, some sort of respect, I would say. And then learn the fact that if you have not been respecting your time diligently, understand that that might be working for you. It doesn't mean that you work for other people. That's why we say in Bankcode we have got 4 different personalities. And one of them truly respects time and the rules. The moment you violate their time and their rules, this group of people will be absolutely upset. And they may not want to do business with you from that point onwards. Okay? So I want to actually do this video. And later this video, I'll be sending to one of the persons who actually asked for a scheduled meeting. And he asked me the question that how much early or how much advance notice the person should give for this kind of situation. I say, well, first of all, if it happens to a blueprint, that should not happen in the first place. So to sum up, it's a question of whether you see the call important. Because in the first place, if the call is not important, you are having this try mindset. Then of course, you might say, I got stuck with previous appointment. I'm not able to show up. I'm sorry. You know what, in business, can you say sorry to the US president? Can you say sorry to your teacher? Can you say sorry to a very, I'll call it manen e or billionaire when who is agreeable to meet up with you? I just close this. I'll just end this broadcast with just one example to demonstrate that I walk my talk. So my teacher actually asked me to schedule a call with him. It's a 30-minute call last night. And I only saw the message this morning. And what happened was that when I go to his calendar to book the time, guess what happened? The time slots that I have from Singapore time perspective is 5:30 a.m. my time. So how many of you would want to have your call with your teacher at 5:30 a.m.? If you say no, I want you to rethink. Because there are no other time slots available. I only have this time slot at 5:30 a.m. So guess what? I go ahead and book it. And I told my teacher, I booked this time, 5:30, I will speak to you. And that is actually his 1:30, or should be 2:30 p.m. his time, Pacific time. So you see, I make no excuses because I can't call possibly my teacher and say, sorry, teacher, your calendar is very inflexible. You do not have other time slots for Singapore morning. 5:30 a.m. is too early for me. Can we negotiate? You know what? The teacher will say FO straight away. My teachers love FO all the time. So I do not want to play games with my teacher. I just said, okay, I set my calendar, 5:30 a.m. I'll make sure I wake up at 5 o'clock, fresh up myself, get ready for the call. That is how I see the importance of call, especially the calls with people who are more successful than me. I'm not going to play games and never do. All I want is make sure I give respect to my teachers and whoever I agree to meet. Okay? So I thought that this is a very nice example from me that happened just a while ago, a few hours ago, to show you that I am not talking shit. I'm actually walking my talk. If you respect my time, because I respect my time of my teachers, I want you to understand that that will actually help you a lot in your business. Cool? So if you love this video, if you love this broadcast, let me know. If you have any questions, comments, or observation, do put down your comment so that I can see, I can reply. And most importantly, remember when you schedule call with another person, always ask yourself 2 questions. How many? 2 questions. Number 1, what's the personality of the person with whom you're going to speak? Do some due diligence and find out. I don't care whether you are going to do it regularly or not. At least when you're requesting a call or meeting with someone, do some homework. Come with full prepared. If the person actually is aware that you come with full preparation, you impress the person actually. It is a business language that we know. Okay? That's question 1. Number 2, what's the same question you ask? Question 2 is very simple. Okay? Ask yourself, why do you want to schedule the call or this meeting in the first place? Is that important? If it's important, then you will give some attention, or actually a lot of attention, to make sure that you show up. You're not going to play games and say to the person with whom I agree to meet with you, I am sorry, I am not able to meet up with you at this time. Can we do another time, please? You know what? It won't happen. This is business. In business, every minute, every second is money. And you're not going to waste the time for this. Okay? So I thought this is a very good, I won't call it a lesson. I just call it a sharing so that you guys know this is how I see the value of time and the value of respect, priority, and commitment. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. And I look forward to having another broadcast very soon. And thank you for all the comments, whether you do it live or recording. Last but not least, if you do have any questions, comment below so that I am able to see. If there is a good question, I will do another broadcast in future. All right, so thank you very much. And by the way, just last minute, if you're watching this from YouTube, make sure that you subscribe my channel. I will put a link somewhere up so that you can click subscribe and make sure you turn on the notification so that on YouTube, you'll be able to see notification when I upload another video. All right, so thanks very much, everyone. Jack Wong here, signing off. All good wishes.